Of course.
She's connecting from the US, and she was a former principal, and also she's also a stutter awareness advocate. Yeah, she believes that her stutter is her superpower. Yeah, and she really has a story to tell us, and I would urge each and every one of us to pay that attention so that we could learn from her long years of experience. Yeah, stage. Hello,
You want
Dr.
me to
Sandra.
start? Good afternoon from where I am. Good evening from where some of you all are. Thank you so much for having me this afternoon, this evening. I just want to share some wisdom, some hard-earned wisdom with you that I had to learn over my entire life as being a person who stutters. And I want to acknowledge, I see some folks that I invited from the NSA and from his story, her story. And I'm so glad that you guys are here to be able to join with us from our brothers and sisters across the water. It is so good to be in community this afternoon with people who understand, with people who get it, and with people who want to learn more about my journey so they can go and share it with someone else who may not be able to be in this space at this time. So I just want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for allowing me to share some of my story. I've been asked to speak about navigating your stutter at work. And being a person who has been in a job for over 30 years, I've had plenty of experience navigating my stutter at work. I started off as a counselor, went through to being a teacher, was promoted to be a principal, well, an assistant principal, then a principal, and then a district office administrator, which meant that I was not only working with teachers, students, and families, but I was also working with district office personnel, often working with people who were outside of the school system. And I had to give presentations to people that I was intimately familiar with my students and my teachers, and give presentations to people who I was not familiar with. And throughout all of those experiences, I stuttered through every single one of them. So I will share some of that hard-earned wisdom with you today. So, talking about navigating your stutter at work, the first thing I want to share is breathe. Breathe. Sometimes when you are faced with a situation where you have to speak in front of other people, for me, the first thing that I think about is they're going to judge me because of how I speak. Yeah, they are. They are. And there's nothing that you can do about that. What's helped me when I'm standing in front of a crowd is to take a deep breath and to understand that my words are worth waiting for. When I pause with intention, silence is not failure, it's presence. If you watch some of the most successful speakers in the world, you'll see them stop and pause before they start to speak. And even when I stopped and paused and I stuttered through whatever presentation I was giving, that was the best that I can do for my nervous system to regulate myself so that I could continue to speak, stuttering and all, in a space where I knew that people were saying, "Why is she talking like that? Is she nervous?" And for a long time, I let people assume that I was nervous when I stuttered as I speak. I have since learned to say the words. I'm a person who stutters, and I'll get to that part in a minute. The next thing that helped me is to focus on my message and not on my fluency. I can't control how fluent I'm going to be from 1 minute to the next. And I've learned to stop trying to figure out, well, how am I going to make this more fluent, and how am I going to make this, less stuttery? I'm just not. Whatever comes out of my mouth and however it comes out of my mouth, that's what comes out. What's important to me is that what I have to say matters more than how fluently I say it. And I know that I have good ideas, and I know that I have researched whatever it is that I'm presenting. So my ideas are important to me. And what's important as I'm presenting is that people understand that I know my stuff when I present. And even if you don't know your stuff and you're able to BS your way through, good luck with that, because I've done that too. But the power I think with this is courage, and it's hard to find courage to get not only get through your message, but also to get through your message while you're stuttering. That requires another layer of courage. But I know that as people who stutter, we have an overabundance of courage because we do the impossible every single day. The next thing to think about is to consider disclosing your stutter. It took me decades before I was able to say the words, I am a person who stutters. And once I said those words, it was like a wall came down. I stopped trying to be somebody that I'm not. I stopped trying to hide something that I had been struggling with for years. And it felt good to just say, huh, I'm a person who stutters. And however people take it, you're not responsible for that. All you're responsible for is how you feel disclosing that. And I found that naming it takes away the power. Disclosure can create space for authenticity and connection. And at almost every time I say I'm a person who stutters and I release my truth and I breathe, inevitably within 15 minutes, somebody will come up to me and say, well, my brother-in-law stutters, or my cousin stutters, or my son stutters. And you've created a connection with people that you had no idea that you were creating a connection with, all because you were vulnerable in a moment and disclosed the fact that you're a person who stutters. And when I disclose my stutter, I don't just say I stutter. I say I'm a person who stutters. For me, that's important. I want you to consider my personhood as I'm speaking about the way that I speak, as opposed to just saying I stutter. To me, that doesn't give enough credence to my humanity. There's a person behind the stutter. And I think that when people understand that, it makes them less apt to want to tease you or mock you or make fun of you because of how you speak. If you just say I stutter, that gives a different message in my experience than saying I'm a person who stutters. It forces them to consider your personhood. Another thing to do is keep speaking through moments of discomfort. I've gotten so comfortable with my stuttering, but I've gotten comfortable because I've been stuttering my entire life. And I've learned all of these things that I'm sharing with you to be able to move through my stutter without much discomfort. I just know that it's just a part of me, it's a part of who I am, and it's a part of how I speak. No more, no less. So as I'm stuttering here on screen, I'm very conscious of it. But my brain is just saying, it's okay. You're stuttering. You've been doing this for decades. Just keep on talking. You'll be fine. And that's that internal conversation that I have to have with myself that I'm not sure anybody else has with themselves, about just speaking to yourself through your stutter. And discomfort is not a signal to stop. You can continue to push through, because if I've learned anything else in my stuttering journey, is that every voice deserves to be heard, especially the ones who struggle with being heard the most. Another thing I do is to prepare for high pressure situations. This could have been a high pressure situation today for me, presenting in front of all of you and whoever else will be seeing this recording afterwards. So I had to prepare for it. I rehearsed my key points. I visualized my success. I'm continually giving myself grace if I think that I'm messing up. And you may not see the mess up, but I definitely do see it. And by mess up, I don't mean my stutter. I mean, if I forget an important point to tell you, that's when I think I'm messing up. But as I'm stuttering, I'm being myself. I'm being my natural, true, authentic self. This is just how I speak. But I still prepare for every single presentation that I do because preparation builds confidence. So even if right now all of my screens were to go blank, I'm still prepared. I'm still ready. I still know that I'm going to give you guys a dynamic presentation and give you some things to walk away with that you didn't know 20 minutes ago. So when you prepare for those times like that big interview, and if you get called back for a second interview, if you get called back for a for a third interview, always prepare for those situations because you never know when something might happen that you have no control over, and something will force you to memorize something or be on the ball for something. Prepare for those situations. And while you can't prepare for every single thing that goes wrong, prepare for things that you can that you can control and think about how successful you are going to be. And those things have definitely helped me to prepare for high pressure situations. Another thing to do is to know your rights. And this was a struggle for me because I literally like in the last 3 years realized that my stutter is a disability and that my stutter is protected under the Americans with Disabilities Act. No idea that even existed for me. I'm not sure what the rights are for where most of you are coming to me from, but it would be advantageous to know what your rights are as it relates to you having a disability, being a person who stutters. Stuttering is protected under the ADA. I did not know that. But you have the right to accommodations and respect in the workplace. So when you're in your workplace and you don't feel like your rights are being acknowledged, first person is to talk to your boss, and then talk to your boss's boss, and then so on and so on and so forth. But do your research, know your rights, know what you are entitled to, and make sure that that's what you're getting in the workplace. Find allies or sponsors. I just recently learned this as I was doing research for another project that I'm working on. Allies are people who will take you under their wing and bring you into spaces where people are making decisions. Sponsors vouch for you as they bring you into those rooms with decision makers. So allies are the people who will help you at work and they will speak good things about you, but sponsors will make things happen for you. So find those people either in your workspace, in your church, in your friend group, in organizations that you're part of. I'm part of a sorority. I'm part of a nationally of a nationally of a not nationally of a black sorority. We call them HBC, NPHC, National Panhellenic Count, Council. There are 9 fraternities and sororities that are worldwide known for community service and service to all mankind. I'm part of one of those organizations, and we always sponsor a number of different schools. And so if you're part of those communities, find the leaders in those organizations. They will vouch for you, they will sponsor you if you're part of those organizations. And if you find those folks who are at your job, find the people who are in power at your job. Sorry, there's an airplane flying over my house right now. It's pretty loud. Sorry. But find those people who can be allies to you, who can bring you into their circles, into their networks, and find those sponsors who are not only willing to bring you into their networks, but who are also willing to put you in places where you can show off your genius in spaces where maybe everyone else doesn't get to go into those spaces. Number 8 is very personal to me. I did not know that I could even do this, and it harkens back to another one that I just showed you. Identify yourself as a person who stutters. For decades, I would just mumble to people who asked me, "Why do you talk like that?" and I would just say, I stutter. I did not honor myself in those moments, and I regret that. And so when I joined the National Stuttering Association, that was the first time that I actually heard the words, a person who stutters. And I heard people say things like, I am a person who stutters. That blew my mind because that honors not only my stutter, which I have been trying to hide for decades, but it gave me my humanity back. It gave me back my identity. And I did not have a name for my identity. I stutter, I'm Sandra, but I didn't find a way to connect those two identities together in a way that made sense for me and in a way that honored all the parts of me. So identifying myself as a person who stutters was freeing. And you are not your stutter. But there's a very important person attached to that stutter. So this was my way of acknowledging this. I am not my stutter, but I am a person who stutters. And for people who don't stutter, that clicks for them. It lets them know that you are a person because I've been treated as less than before, and I am a person who stutters. People understand that, and that helps them to understand your humanity better, at least in my experience. So I would challenge you to start referring to yourself as a person who stutters and see if that fits you. And if it doesn't, it's fine. That's just something that I use that fit me and that helped me to create an identity around my stuttering as opposed to keeping my stutter separate from me. And it also helps people who don't know that I stutter. It helps them to understand how my stutter relates to me as a person. And then accepting your stutter and owning your stutter are two different things. When you go into a workplace and you're going into a workplace to interview for a position, if you've accepted your stutter, and even if you haven't, sometimes you're able to start the interview process when they say the dreaded thing. So tell me something about you. You've introduced yourself, and people are sitting around the table, and the one person who's in charge goes, tell us about yourself. When you accept your stutter, I won't say you. When I accepted my stutter, I was able to say, I'm a person who stutters, and I'm also an educator, and I've been in this thing for 20 years and yada 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 yada. I can talk about that in that context. But when I owned my stutter, when I got to that level where it's embarrassing to say this now because it's pretty funny, but when you own your stutter, you are able to do things that would shock younger you. I went to a conference once. It's a speaking con conference. And part of what I talk about when I give speeches is I talk about my stutter. And I called my stutter my superpower. So I spent 2 days at a conference. I think it was here. I'm from Chicago. So the conference was here in Chicago. As part of my advertisement for my speaking business, I spent 2 days running around this ginormous conference space with a superhero cape on. And when people would stop me and ask me, why are you wearing a superhero cape? I would say, because I'm a person who stutters, and stuttering is my superpower. And people would laugh, not because I was stuttering, but because I had accepted my stutter and owned my stutter as a superpower so much so that I was running around with a cape on, advertising me coming to speak to college students about overcoming difficult things. I would not suggest that you run around with a cape on because that was kind of silly, but it made perfect sense to me because that was me not only accepting my stutter, but owning my stutter and helping other people understand what my mission is in life is to help people own whatever they consider their stutter to be. Accepting is passive, but ownership is wearing a superhero cape for 2 days and running around talking about how your stutter is your superpower. But it is it's but there are levels to it. There's hiding, which you don't tell anybody anything. And then there's acceptance, which is passive, and then there's ownership, which is active. And ownership also looks like when people say, "Why do you talk like that?" You can respond back to them, I speak like this because I'm a person who stutters. That's when you own your stutter and you're able to let people know that this is who you are. And notice I did not say anything about apologizing for it. I spent years telling people, I'm sorry, I'm a person who stutters. I'm sorry, I stutter. I'm sorry, I speak differently. I've stopped apologizing for my stutter years ago. And accepting it was a challenge for me, and owning it was freeing to me. Owning my stutter was the best thing I ever did for myself because it freed me from thinking about what other people think of me, and it freed me to think about what I think of me. And that was a huge step for me to do the things that I'm doing today. This is a question that I hear from people a lot. How do I stop people from judging me? This was hard for me because I had been used to people judging me. I had been used to people saying things that were incorrect, inappropriate, and just downright disrespectful. I realized that I can't stop anybody from judging me because sometimes judging is silent and you don't know who's judging you, and you don't know that they're judging you necessarily for your stuttering. You don't know what they're judging you for. But when people are openly saying things like, "Oh my God, how can she talk? She talks funny. Oh my gosh, how can she be the principal? She talks funny. Oh my goodness, how can she run this meeting? She stutters. She talks funny." I've become so grounded over the years in just doing the work in who I am that somebody else's judgment does not determine my next steps. But that takes a deep, deep, deep dive into who you are, how you function, how you operate, and what you're willing to do to accept the part of you that you may still be struggling with. And maybe everyone's not struggling with their stutter. Maybe it's something else that you're struggling with. But and I can't tell you specifically what to do because everybody has their own method of becoming grounded in who you are. For me and for my stutter, I practiced saying out loud, I'm a person who stutters. I'm a person who stutters. I am a person who stutters. That grounded me in that I am a person and I stutter, but my stutter does not define me. It's something that I do. But once I owned it, when people would throw those arrows at me, my shield was so protected and my shield was so strong that their nasty comments bounced off because I know who I am. I'm so grounded in who I am and what value I bring. It doesn't matter what people say. And that was a hard fought battle that I'm still fighting today. But I know that once I become fluent in my groundedness, anything that anybody says will bounce right off me. And that skill will take some time to do, but once you got it, you got it. The next piece I want to talk about, and this is a newer framework for me, is before you do any of these things, you have to believe that you're enough. Your personal value is something that only you can create, only something that you can share. But all of that starts with believing that you're enough. And your stutter does not make you less than. Your stutter may make you different, but so does your eye color, so does your skin tone, so does how you walk, so does how you talk, so does how you navigate life. But when you believe that you're enough and you act on that belief, things begin to change in ways that I still can't describe. And when you believe that you are enough, you find that you want to belong to groups of people who are struggling with some of the same things that you are. And you can belong without pretending to be someone else. I find great strength in belonging to the National Stuttering Association. I find greater strength in talking to Black people who stutter. I find greater strength in talking to Black women who stutter because they get it. I don't have to walk in and explain, well, see, I speak this way and I look this way and I talk this way. And this is why I just walk in and they're like, we get it. You belong. And that belonging is so powerful. That's why people create organizations because they want to be around people who are similar to them because you can be in a space and give somebody a look and that person goes like this. That means you get it without having to say a word. So that belonging is strong. So belonging to the Stuttering Awareness Foundation is huge because you are with people who get it. And then become the leader that you were meant to be. Becoming that leader that you were meant to be takes time. So don't expect it to be, okay, I'm going to do these 14 things, and then I'm going to become a leader. That's not how this thing works. Becoming a leader takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy, and it takes getting knocked on your butt a couple of times because you need to know what that's like. Because you're going to be getting knocked on your butt a lot and just in life. So becoming the leader that you were meant to be takes all of these things. But I'm confident that each and every one of you will be able to become the leader that you're meant to be. And leading with my stutter, and I lead with my stutter, is a much better use of my energy than trying to hide it. I spent so much time, so much effort, so much energy trying not to stutter. I wish someone had told me 30 years ago, stutter. It's okay. It's how you talk. It's what you do. Lead with it. It would have saved me so much angst and so much self-hatred and so much energy that I was trying to be someone that I'm not. It's so much easier to just say, for me, I'm a person who stutters and just stutter. It's changed my life immeasurably. Um, it's made people look at me differently, and it's made me a stronger person. Um, and it's not necessarily made my job search more difficult. I know I'm supposed to be talking about how stuttering affects finding a job, and I will get to that part. But I'll share a quick story. Two years ago, I applied for a position in a school district that was not that far from my house, and I went to this interview. Now, I was very qualified for this job. So I had no problem, I thought, getting the job. As soon as I got there, they started interviewing me. I was barely able to even introduce myself. I stuttered through the whole 45-minute interview, like stuttered really, really, really hard throughout the whole 45-minute interview. And I walked out of that interview feeling so defeated. I was like, oh my God, I stuttered through the entire thing. They're not going to hire me. I realized that what I said was more important than how I said it. And I said, well, if they can't understand that, then maybe I don't want to work with them. Before I got to my front door, they were calling me and offering me that position. I learned that what you say is so much more important than how you say it. If you know your stuff inside and out, the right people will come along and say, yeah, you stutter. Great. Come and do this job for us because you're the best person for this job. Another time I was in an interview and I tried a new technique, this self-disclosing. I walked into the interview and there were 15 principals and district office administrators sitting there waiting to interview me. It was like facing a firing squad. And I had learned enough in the NSA to start off the interview when they said, thank you for coming. Tell us about yourself. I introduced myself and I said, and I would also want you to know that I'm a person who stutters. So if you hear me repeating words or phrases, or even parts of words, just know that I'm a person who stutters. And I was too scared to explain anything more. But I got that rapid fire interview from 15 different high ranking principals. These are doctors and, all this other stuff. And I walked out of that interview terrified. I was like, I know I blew this because I stuttered through the entire thing. When I got home, they called me in for a second interview. And I went in for the second interview and I stuttered through the entire interview. When I got home, they called me again and said, we're calling to offer you the position. That taught me that even though I had an ally in the room, now I didn't have a pardon me, I didn't have somebody who was spoon feeding me, but I had an ally in the room. Between the ally and my self disclosure and my knowledge of the job, I was able to be offered the position. All of those things could not have been possible for me 15 years ago when I was struggling with my stuttering and struggling with self-disclosure and struggling with owning it and struggling with accepting it. Once I've done all of those things, I'm only able to share these with you because these are things that I did myself. And that's what has gotten me to this space where I'm able now to come to you and say, these are things that helped me to become who I am as a person who stutters. And these are things that you can take with you directly back to use for yourself before you have your next interview. My secret weapons. I've also sat on the other side of interviews and been the interviewer. And I've had interviewees come into my office and sit with their own different set of things that they're afraid that I'll find out about them. So, as the interviewer, and I've been the interviewer several times as a principal, I had to hire teachers every single year. What I really want to know as a person who is interviewing somebody else is, can you do the job? Maybe you have an accent. Maybe you have a cleft palate. If you're a person who stutters, if you speak differently than the quote unquote average person, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the person who can do the job. And if you can do the job, that ups your acceptance rate exponentially. I also want you to know I didn't become successful after I owned my stutter. I became successful in the process of owning my stutter. After 30 years as an educator, and now I'm an author, an educator, and a speaker, I became successful because I struggled with my stutter, because I know what it's like to have to fight my tongue for every single word that comes out. That just made me stronger. And then once I'm able to own it, accept it, and use it, and be able to speak to people about it, that to me is success, even though I'm still a person who stutters. And leading with my stutter was a much better use of my efforts than trying to hide it. I can't speak for everybody. I know what it's like to try and hide something that refuses to hide. Every time I open my mouth, people go, hmm. They lean in and go, now what'd you say again? That happens to me almost every single time I speak and I stutter. And I've learned to say, oh, I'm a person who stutters. That takes the tension away. That helps me to be calm. It helps the person who is listening to me to understand, oh, she's not nervous. She just stutters. And I admit, I have let people think for years that I was just nervous. I've stopped doing that and I've accepted and I've owned my stutter. And I'm able to say, I'm a person who stutters. And don't wait for your speech to change before you decide to be a leader. Decide to lead and then let your speech come with you. That was a hard lesson to learn. I'm still learning it today, but it is so much better than what it was before when I was hiding my stutter. That concludes my presentation. I would love to take any questions that you have specific to navigating your stutter at work. This is my information. You can contact me through LinkedIn, through email, through my website and on WhatsApp. So at this point, I can stop my presentation and I will be happy to take any questions that you have.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Sandra. Let me just check if Prince is still on. Prince, are you on? Hello, Prince, can you hear me? Okay, I guess his network is still a little bit bad, so I can take it up from here. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Dr. Sandra. That was so inspiring.
Thank you.
You literally gave a lot of slides. I have done a lot of screenshots as well to be able to still share with the
Excellent.
community. So yeah, so now I'm going to um have the mic open just as she has said. If you have
Yeah.
any questions to ask, she is available to answer. If you have any contributions as well, you just raise your hand and we'll call you. I can see Elizabeth Ben. I can see your hands are up, so I would give you the floor now. You can speak.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. Hi, Dr. Sandra. I'm so grateful that I could be in today's meeting and listen to someone like you. I mean, like, it just means a lot that I have someone that I can, like relate with and all of that. So, my question today is that how can we build confidence as like someone that stutters, you know, and then sometimes I have things to say, or if they're asking questions, like I want to answer, but it's like I'm overthinking it and I'm having like a tight knot in my chest and all of that. So like I'm just wondering how can I build, confidence and then like speak up and then just do the job because like I have a lot to say, but I'm just too scared, like to come out and say it. Yeah.
I love that question, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for asking that question.
Yeah.
Here is where your personal strength comes into play. Let me ask you this first. Have you ever had a really, really great idea, wanted to raise your hand to say your great idea, and then either have somebody else say that same idea and watch them get praised for it,
Yeah.
or you don't say anything and then you go home and you feel awful because you go, you had a good idea and you didn't even say it. I'm disappointed in you. Like my inner self says that all the time. If I'm in a space and I have an idea, but I was too scared to say something, I would go back home and just beat myself up. That is exhausting and it's a
Yeah.
horrible feeling. And when you have a better idea than Pete from HR or than that second grade teacher who knows nothing about what you know about, that gets on your nerves. And at some point, you have to say, okay, I'm gonna put myself out there. And sometimes it's better to put yourself out there and stutter through it than to keep going back home going, I wish I would have said this. I wish I would have said that. I should have said this. I'm going to challenge you. The next time you have that great idea, you can do a couple of different things. One, you can write your idea down and give it to your boss. Doesn't involve any speaking. Another thing that you can do before the meeting, you can talk to either your boss or somebody in the meeting, and disclose to them, I'm a person who stutters, but I want to say something in the meeting. That is going to signal to them that you have an idea, but also challenge yourself to say something during that meeting. The first time you do it, it's going to be nerve-wracking because you're going to be sitting there going, oh my gosh, now I have to speak. Now I have to speak. But you either have the terror of speaking in public and stuttering, or the horror afterwards of wanting to speak and not doing it. Either way, it's a no-win situation. So you have to choose your heart. Both of them are hard. Choose your heart. Another thing,
Oh.
yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, 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 I'm listening. I'm just like, wow.
Yes, you have to choose your heart. Speaking your truth is hard, and not speaking your truth is hard. You have to decide which of those. And in my experience, saying the thing that you want to say, even though you stutter through it, is so much more freeing and so much more like you walk out of there going, I stuttered through that whole thing, but everybody heard my idea and it was good. Or everybody heard my idea and it was terrible, but I still talked. I still stuttered through it. So you have to have those moments in your life where sometimes things may not go as planned, but the bigger win is that you conquered your fear of speaking out loud. And you can do it. You can absolutely do it.
Yeah,
I
thank
hope
you
that
so
that
much,
kind
Dr.
of,
Sandra. I really appreciate.
you're
Yeah, I
welcome.
appreciate the answer. Thank you.
Please.
Thank you so
And keep
much.
in touch with me because I want to know when you did it so I can celebrate you.
Yeah, I will definitely. Thank you.
Please do. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Elizabeth, I believe your question was answered to your satisfaction.
Yeah, completely.
Thank
Okay,
you.
great. So before we move on to the next person whose hand is already up, I just want to acknowledge the presence of Jerry Okiki, who is a disability justice advocate, storyteller, and communication professional. He's passionate about building inclusive narrative and amplifying underrepresented voices. And I'm just happy that he was able to join us here. He was supposed to be one of our speakers last year in our International Stuttering Awareness Day, but that didn't work out. But I'm just happy that he's here with us. And if he has something to say, of course, we'll give him some few minutes to also address us. And if not, no problem. All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to move on to Cody Lamb. I can see your hands are up. Please, you can unmute yourself and speak. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. And I just want to say I'm so proud of you. Dr. Sandra, I'm sorry I was late. I'm not really feeling too well, but you delivered. Like, you did an amazing job, number one.
Thank you.
My question for you is, so I've been stuttering significantly a lot more. And I would say specifically at work, like everybody knows like everybody basically, and something I've always struggled with is unfam unfamiliar. I'm not even saying this correctly. So people that I'm unfamiliar with. So like unfamiliarity. If I'm saying it correctly, I'm not saying it right. But anything that's unfamiliar, I tend to struggle with my communication.
Mm-hmm.
I get more anxious, and I used to always have challenges. Um, Specifically with authoritative figures. And as you know, my mother is my boss, and my assistant manager, we've known each other for years. So she's learned how to not to religiously cut me off, which she used to do to everybody because she did it in corporate America. But but what helped you maintain your confidence when you had maybe people that were already familiar that you stuttered, but they consistently still cut you off? Or like you said, like for example, your relative that already knows you stutter, obviously, and that's just her thing. She just tends to complete your sentences. So my question is, for me, how do I maintain that confidence when I might have like my usual customers come in, but I might have particular people that still cut me off and they already know I stutter? And maybe you've had the conversation with them before and they're like, yeah, I know, like I know, like even when you disclose you stutter, and they're like, yeah, I know. Like, how do you manage stuff like that?
Cody, that is a great question. I just disclosed to you guys that I have a cousin who is, I mean, I've known her my entire life. So, and I know that when I speak and I stutter and she completes my sentences for me, it makes me so angry. But I had to stop and think, She knows I don't like that. She knows. I have to tell her again, but I also know that the reason that she completes my sentences for me is because she loves me and she wants me to be able to be heard. I can't get mad at somebody who loves me like that. But I also need to step up and tell her, babe, look, you've been completing my sentences for 50 years. It's okay to stop now. I haven't gotten to that part with her yet because that's my own stuff. I have to get past that relative stuff and tell her, you don't have to complete my sentences for me. It's okay. I can complete them on my own. But when people outside of my family complete it, I've just recently learned to let them know, oh, honey, it's okay. I can complete my own sentences. As a principal and as a person who is in charge of other people, I always strive to make connections with people. I always strive to talk to everyone, to have relationship with people because I want them to walk away with me feeling better about themselves than when they met me the first time. So I have had to learn to build relationships with people first, and then when they complete my sentences, say, "Oh, it's okay. I can complete my own sentences, but thank you so much for helping me out. I appreciate that." So there's a way that you can say it where for me, because I don't like to you don't have to finish my sentences. To me, that's not authentic to who I am. But I can say very nicely, thank you so much for doing that, but I'm okay. I can complete my own sentences. And however that looks for you, and I've done that to people who I work with. I've done that in parent meetings. I've done that in intense parent meetings where I've been in parent meetings where the parents wanted to kill me because I suspended their kid. And I'm talking to the parent and I'm stuttering. And the mom says, well, you finished. I said, ma'am, very respectfully, I can finish my own sentences. Thank you so much. And then she kept being mad at me, and I kept being, civil to her. But my stutter became a non-issue because I addressed it immediately. But that takes courage, that takes confidence, and sometimes it takes repetition for you to be able to end the moment, stop and say, hold on, this is not what we're doing. We're going to do something different, but I'm going to respect you and you're going to respect me. That takes some time to be able to do that. But I challenge each and every one of you who are in situations like that to stop and see how that would look, see how that would feel. It doesn't always feel great the first time that you do it. But the first time you do it, there will be a second time that you'll say, okay, hold on. You don't have to complete my sentences for me. And you can practice this in the mirror. So you'll see how you look. You'll see how you sound. You'll hear how your voice sounds when you say, thank you, but you don't have to complete my sentences for me. Notice your facial expression. Notice what your hands are doing. Notice how you sound when you do that. Will you stutter? You probably will. And that's okay. But it's more important that you get that part out because you won't walk away every time somebody says that and feel defeated. We all deserve, as people who stutter, to, to feel some power and to feel like we have done something good, we have done something right, because I spent my whole life thinking that how I spoke was wrong. I don't ever want anybody else to feel that way. So practice in the mirror what it looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like. Just say thank you, but you don't have to complete my sentences for me. I can do them myself. That does that help? Okay. Thank you for that question.
Okay. Cody, can you hear me? I believe your question was answered to your satisfaction.
Hello. Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. Is there any other person that has any other question?
Yes, I have a question, Victoria.
All
Hi.
right. Please, can speak.
Dr. Sandra, how are we expected to react? Like, let's say, um, that I am in a professional setting, like a meeting, and someone mocks me or laughs at me because I stuttered. So how would you react if you were in my position?
The first part of your question asks, how are we expected to react when
Yes,
somebody mocks or talks about our stuttering? There's
exactly.
no there's no expectation. I don't have any expectation. Your expectation is however you present yourself. What I've done that helps me to react to people who do that is I have learned that, and I hate to say it this way, but this is how I felt and this is how I operated. In the moment, my comfort is more important than you making fun of me. And if I allow my discomfort to take a back seat, I will spend the rest of my day perseverating about how I did not speak up for myself in a meeting where I will never get a chance to speak up for myself again. I've been in too many situations where somebody has said something inappropriate, somebody has cut me off, somebody has finished my sentences. I have been in so many of those situations, and I beat myself up every single time because I did not say something. It doesn't have to be the perfect thing. It doesn't have to be a whole read where you tell, and you better not, it doesn't have to be all of that. It can be something as simple as, I'm sorry, I'm a person who stuttered. No, I'll back up. Don't say I'm sorry because that's apologizing. Excuse me. I'm a person who stutters. I don't appreciate that. You don't have to get into a long diatribe about why, because everybody knows why it's inappropriate. They're counting on you to not say something, and I've learned the hard way. It's better to stutter and say, I would appreciate if you would not mock the way that I speak, as opposed to sitting back and letting that person have that moment where they're mocking you because you feel it and everyone else feels it, but you're the only one who takes it home at night. I got tired of that feeling. And so one day I mustered up the courage to say, excuse me, I'm a person who stutters. I don't appreciate that. And it stopped the person in their tracks because they're counting on me not to say anything. And for a person who stutters to speak up for themselves in a meeting full of people who don't stutter, that takes courage. But it also takes courage to live this life that we live and stutter every single day. Why should that courage stop when you're directly confronted with it in a room full of people? That's the best place to display it because it lets everybody know. Oh, okay, we can't talk about him like that. No, you're teaching people how to treat you because if one person does it, then it's okay for everyone else to do it. Unless you say, "Excuse me, I don't appreciate that." You might have a boss who may step in for you and say that. But that's not your boss's job to protect your sanity. That's your job to protect your sanity. Is it going to be hard? Absolutely. But again, pick your heart. It's hard to speak up for yourself when somebody's mocking you in a meeting, but it's also hard to go back home at night and beat yourself up because you let that idiot talk about you in the meeting and you didn't say anything. That's the type of stuff that leads to self-harming behavior, that leads to depression, and that leads to a whole host of other self-harming things, all because we were too afraid to speak up in the moment. I want to challenge you. Speak up in the moment. You will feel so much prouder of yourself for speaking up in the moment and shutting that person down than you would if you just ignored it, because a lot of us just ignore it. And what is the cost of ignoring people who say stupid stuff, especially in a meeting? Your sanity. Is it worth it? I don't think so.
Thank you,
That's a
Miss
hard, you're
Dr.
welcome.
Sandra.
That's hard to
Thank you.
hear. I know it's hard to hear, but I know what it's
Yeah,
like to go home at night and be like, man, I should have said
yeah,
something. When that happens over and over, at some point
yeah,
you say, okay, look, stop.
yeah. Thank you
That's
so
not
much.
appropriate. You're welcome.
So I have a second question too.
Yes.
Um, was there a book or books that helped you in your journey with stuttering?
There are very few books that are out that are written by people who have lived experience with stuttering. That's why I wrote my book because I didn't see any books that were out there that spoke to me as a Black woman who stutters. I didn't see any representation. I didn't see any how-to manuals. I didn't see any other women who were out actively stuttering until I got to the NSA. So there was no book. Now you can purchase my book. It's $10 on Amazon. But there was no book that I read that I went, yes, I see myself reflected in this person's experience. What helped me was to communicate and belong to a group of other Black women who stutter. So some of my melanin stutter queens are on here. Cody Lamb created this wonderful family of women, of Black women who stutter, and you guys have been my saving grace more than once. So being in community with other people who know what it's like to have a very hard stuttery day, that was most helpful for me than a book that I had read. But that's why I wrote the book because I didn't see any representation that would support me with my stuttering journey.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Sandra. Thank you.
You're
Your
welcome.
book, I will surely get it. I'll
Thank
surely
you.
get
I
it.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, does anyone else still has a question? Anyone? Does anyone else still has a question to ask?
I see Adiemi Jacob.
Adeyemi
Hello,
Jacob.
hello,
All right.
ma. Actually, I don't have anything to ask. I just want to appreciate the fact that you come on this page to like speak to us. It was really insightful and I enjoy every bit of it. So I just want to say thank you and God Almighty will continue to bless you and bless every one of us in Jesus' name.
Wow.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Dr. Sandra. You preached a good news, like you preached a good news. Whosoever believeth shall be transformed.
I thank you. I appreciate you all for
Yeah,
listening to me and hearing part of my journey. And I just hope that something that I said was helpful for you in your stuttering journey as well.
it was really helpful to me and everyone that partook in this meeting. I believe so.
Thank
Yeah,
you. And stay in
thank you.
contact with me too. I left all my information up on there. Stay in contact with me as well.
Sure, I will. So does anyone else have anything to contribute or say or ask before we conclude the program? Anyone, any
Okay, I
contribution?
think, yeah, Prince, I think I would try to call on
All right.
Mr. Jerry. I don't know
I
if
have something to say.
okay, okay.
I was trying to raise my hand, but I could not find the emoji
All
for
right.
raising hands up. So I'll just ask my question. So just just before I asked what I want to I asked my 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 just before I ask my questions, I would like to appreciate you for speaking on this call, ma. And just before I unmuted my mic to speak, it took me a while because I was really, really scared and my heart was beating fast. But
My God, thank you.
I have the hope you can hear me. Hope you can hear what I'm saying, ma.
I can hear what you're saying.
Okay,
I
thank
can
you.
hear you.
So
Yes.
I was saying that just before just before I unmuted my mic on this call, I was a little bit scared because I knew that my words may not come out. My words may not come out may not come out fluently as I thought, but I'm still going to ask what is on my mind. So there was something
Speak,
you
child,
said
speak.
in there was something you said in your slide in page 4, where you said that we should speak despite our discomforts. So there are sometimes that whenever I want to speak, or while I am or while I or while I am I am speaking with some group of people, there are times that I run out of breath when I want to speak, and I just know it in my mind that I have to end whatever I want to say. So at that point, I just stop. I stop speaking at that point, because I know that if I should continue, if I continue speaking at that point, it's going to be worse than the way I was speaking before. So when I start to speak, I'm speaking, and I know that I'm stammering while I I speak, and it gets to a point that I'm experiencing discomfort. At that point, I just have to finish up whatever I am saying at that point, because I know that it may get. I want to ask you, ma, that what. Hello, can you see?
Are
Yeah,
you still there?
yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
I am still here. So I asked that what do you think I can do at that point where I start to feel discomfort at that point, because at that point I just don't want to speak. I just don't want to speak. So do you think I can do? And there's another page. There's a page that I saw on your slide on page 9. I would like to like ask you some things from that place. On page 9, you said that we should accept we should accept s- our stutter, and we should own it. Then they are two different things. So it took me a very long time just before I just before I uh, just before I accepted that this is the way I speak. It took me a very, very long period of time. It took me years just before I accepted the way I speak, because I've always I've always hated how I speak or spoke. So it took me a very, very long period of time to take it in that this is how I speak, and I have to take my time to speak. I don't have to rush whenever I want to speak. I don't have to to rush and run out of breath whenever I want to speak. I have to stay calm so that I don't have to speak fast to stammer when I speak.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, oh, I'm sorry, were you
Hello,
done with the question, honey?
I'm still here. It's my
Okay, go ahead.
it's my call. It's my connection is not good, so that's why.
Okay,
Okay, you can still
okay.
hear me. So now the question that I would like to ask you is that how do I own my stutter? How do I own it? What do you say, ma?
That's a beautiful question. First of all, let me thank you so much for asking your question. You said that you were nervous, but you can do hard things, and
Hello?
you asked a
Can you
question.
still hear
Can you
me?
hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Hey, can you hear me? Can you can you hear me?
Can you still hear me?
Our network may
Can you
just be
still
bad.
hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we
I
can
can
hear
hear you.
you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
So if
So
if I hear you
I asked the
correctly,
question from page 9, from slide 9.
yes, accepting your
I
stutter
asked the
and
question
owning
from
your
page
stutter.
9 where I said that how do I own my s- s- stutter since I have accepted it? Yes. How do I own it?
Okay, so it sounds like you asked me two questions. You asked what to do when people make fun of your stutter, and then you asked how do you accept and own your stutter. So the first part is when people make fun of your stutter. I think about, for me, I can't control other people. I don't even try to control other people. I can only control Sandra. I can control my reaction. I can control how I feel. I can control what I do. I can control what I say. I
Mm-hmm.
always think about how would little Sandra, how would 5, 10, 15-year-old Sandra feel if I'm at my big
Mm.
age right now and I let these people say what they wanted to say to me. I've done it before. I've just walked away and let people say what they want to say. At some point, I got tired of not owning my truth and not speaking up from myself. Because when you speak up for yourself, you teach other people how to treat you, and people will treat you how you allow them to treat you. And part of me being a person who stutters, as outgoing as I am, I'm also very cognizant of how people see other people who stutter. I had to also decide, and that was a decision, to stand up for myself and say, I don't like how I'm being treated right now. I don't appreciate it. And sometimes you got to put your big girl panties on and go up to them and say, I don't like that. I would really appreciate it if you treated me like a human being. You don't even have to talk about your stutter. Treat me like a human being and then walk away. Oftentimes people think that when they make fun of you, you're not going to say anything because you stutter. They're counting on you not saying you not saying something. It takes so much courage that you already have because you're living life as a person who stutters. So you have more courage than anybody else has. It takes so much more courage to walk over to them and say, I don't appreciate that. Stop. They're going to be so shocked that you ask them, they'll do it. And then they'll apologize afterwards. Now that we're adults, most adults know exactly what they're doing, and they count on you to not know what they're doing, so that you won't walk over to them and say stop. But we're not kids anymore. We're grown adults. You can tell people how you want to be treated. I give you permission to do that. I had to give myself permission to do that. So when you're ready, you give yourself self permission to take that back and say, that's not what we're doing today. Your second question was about accepting and owning your stutter. Those are two different things. Accepting your stutter is passive. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to have a t-shirt that says, I'm a person who stutters. Accepting it is saying, you know what? I stutter. This is what I can do. This is what I can't do. This is what I will do. This is what I want, what I won't do. You know that you stutter. You're able to articulate the fact that you're stuttered, that you stutter. You're able to say, yeah, I'm glad that you put me on this committee to be the speaker for this panel, but I'm a person who stutters. I don't want to do that. That's accepting it. You know what your limitations are. But when you own your stutter, listen, when you own your stutter, oh my gosh, you do all the things that you're afraid to do when you accept it. In my experience, when I accepted my stutter, I was able to talk about it to my immediate family and to small groups of friends. I was able to acknowledge it at work. I was able to have interviews where I could say, I'm a person who stutters. So when you hear me speak, you may hear me elongate words or repeat words or phrases. I knew what it was. I could accept it. I accepted I'm not going to ever not be a person who stutters. But once I owned it, I had a t-shirt made that says, I'm a person who stutters. I gave a presentation with that t-shirt on. I have that picture of me on stage with my t-shirt. It's sitting over here somewhere. That's owning it. When you walk into a room and the first thing you say is, I am a person who stutters. That's owning it. When you are actively showing, when you are actively embodying being a person who stutters and you're not apologizing for it, that's when you own it. Because when you own it, you can do whatever you want to do with it. You can hide it if you want to. You can bring it out when you want to. You can play around with it if you want to. You can do all the things with it because now you own it. You can wear a superhero cape at a speaking convention and walk around and tell people my stutter is a superpower. That's when you own it. And I get that a lot of people are not there, they are not there yet, but when you get there, please let me know because I want to celebrate that with you. It does not mean that you still don't struggle with it. It just means that you know it's there. You are playing with it. You know when to use it. You know how to use it. But it does not mean that you won't struggle with it. It just means that, okay, I'm a person who stutters. I have a t-shirt that says it. I talk about it. I wrote a book about it. I give keynote speeches about it. But when I'm at the bank and I want to deposit my check that I got for the keynote that I gave 6 weeks ago, and I'm having a hard time saying deposit, and I'm saying deposit, I'm still owning my stutter and I'm still struggling with my stutter. Those two are not mutually exclusive. You still have those times and those days where you're like, oh my gosh, come on, tongue, get it together. But you're not hating it. You're not disowning it. You're not horrified that you talk that way. You're just like, that's just another wonderful part of who I am. That's when you own it. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, ma. Thank you, ma.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Sandra. That was really, really helpful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you so much. And I have a testimony to give. Last time that
Yes.
you came, you also said the same thing that we should learn to accept our stutter and own it. I had an interview that was last 2 weeks with a German firm. So, and we had to speak German language, and I was like, oh my God, I stammer in my normal language, then I'm not speaking a different language. The stammering will be worse. I was like, oh God, help me. So on the day of the interview, before I started the interview, I told them that I'm someone that stutters. And my name is Prince Chibueze James Elendon from Nigeria, and I'm someone that stutters. As I said that, I felt relieved, and I could see it on their faces that, wow, like they were calm and ready to listen to me. So to cut the long story short, I stuttered throughout the interview. I stuttered, but at the end of the day, they selected me out of all the other candidates because just like you said, they look at what can you do. It's not about your stutter or how you're talking. It's what can you do? Can you deliver this? That's just it. So I really want to appreciate you so much. You've been so helpful to me and everyone on this program. Thank you so much, man. We really appreciate you.
That is beautiful. I love it. See, I'm not just talking a whole bunch of words. You are living proof that once you own that and you talk about it and you disclose up front, they don't care. Nobody cares that we stutter.
Exactly.
They want to know, can we do the job and do it effectively? and you've proven that you can do that. So congratulations. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, ma. Really appreciate.
You're welcome. You're
Does
welcome.
someone else has a question
All
to ask?
right. Yeah,
Anyone?
I'm gonna like, can I say something?
Yeah, of course
Okay.
you can.
Okay, so I didn't really want to because I don't know. I am just really scared. I don't even like I can speak now. It's like boom, 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 but let's
Let that
go.
heart pound, baby. Come on, talk to me.
My heart is beating so fast. I don't know why it is, but I'm literally talking to all of you guys, but it's like, Juliana, come down.
You got
First of
this. You got
all,
this. Yes.
why is it beating so fast? Okay, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you, and that I also wanted to like add to like what you said, that we should not wait when um uh, when uh, when uh, when we stop stuttering to like be leaders, because I have been uh, um, uh, I have been a shift lead for 4 years, and I just want to like say I am the most paid in the whole place, and I just want and look at like I speak like this, and I just wanted to like just thing on it. No, 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 you're working. It's all like you. Like that is just simple as that. I pose like okay. I have been through a lot at work with crew teams, just like yeah, she can't speak, but she's this. I don't really care. I am just gonna turn and say it's a thing. Either you work or go home. Like I am not there to like say please no, please do not market me. It's either you work or you leave. Like I am not, nah. So I just want to tell everyone that no one cares. Just know your thing and you should be good. And I also wanted to like say, you do not want to work with a thing teams who like how can I put that? Do not see your come 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 competence just because of your speech. So if it's not good for them, then like it is not a safe worker place. So just to move on. That's just all I wanted to say.
Beautifully said,
Thank
sweetheart.
you.
Beautifully
My
said.
heart is
Oh my
beating so
gosh.
fast.
My heart is beating fast now too, because I'm so
I
proud of you
like,
for
I don't
speaking your
talk. I don't
truth.
want to talk. I don't want to talk.
And see, your need to speak your truth outweighed your fear. See how that works? Your
Yeah.
need to speak your truth outweighed your fear. So you did it, pounding heart and all, and you changed the trajectory of my life because now I see and hear your excellence. So thank you for changing my life today.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that's everything. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. If somebody's talking, we can't hear you because you're on mute. Prince, were you talking?
Okay, I think we can.
Oh, okay.
Hello?
I can hear
Yes, I
you.
don't think anybody has their hands up, but I'm going to call on Mr. Jerry. Mr. Jerry has a word for us. Mr. Jerry, if you can hear me, you can unmute. Okay, Ma, do you want us to round up your session first?
Sorry,
Hello,
Victoria,
Dr.
you say?
Sandra. Oh, okay. Okay, we have Mr. Jerry on board now.
Yeah, really. Hi everyone. I honestly don't have much to say. I just want to, I just want to appreciate, Dr. Sandra for the amazing presentation. And as always, she's always inspirational, and a lot of young people look up to her. And personally, when I started my journey, she's among, one of the people who, inspired me to just own my truth and be myself and be authentic with who I am. And it has really, taken me a long way. And yeah, really, I personally do feel like, I'm stammering or rather stuttering um, is a gift. I treat mine as a gift because,
Mm.
it's you unique way of speaking because only one in 100 people worldwide stutters, and there are only 80 million people who speak like us, really. So yeah, so I'm always proud of it, and everyone else should be really proud and not really fear how they speak, really. Yeah, and it's amazing being in this community because with stuttering you can always feel like you're alone, and when you're part of like a community like this, it helps build your confidence, and you meet other people like you and you feel really encouraged. So Victoria, you're really doing an amazing job with the Stuttering Awareness Foundation, and I really hope that it goes a long way to support, other people who stammer, worldwide, really. Yeah, that's all I have, and it's great and amazing seeing all of you. Thank you.
Hey, can I just add, Jerry, the first time we met, this is the version of you that I saw that you could be. I saw
Yeah,
this version of you already. You are just so confident and you are stuttering and you are commanding the room. I saw this the first time I met you. Like, was it like a year or two ago, maybe now? A year ago or so? A year and a half
two
ago?
years, 2 years,
Three, oh my God, 3 years ago. Yes,
two
yes. This
years.
is the version, 2 years ago.
Yes,
This is the version I saw that you could be. And to see you speaking so eloquently while you are stuttering, I love it. I love it. You are amazing. Thank you so much.
thank you. And I'll give the mic back to Victoria or the team at Stuttering Awareness Foundation, really. Yeah, thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Jerry. Thank you so much for that. Oh, does anyone still has a contribution to make? Any contributions or questions? All right, Mr. David.
Yes, thank you. I want to thank Dr. Sandra for sending me the invites for this organization. This is a great Zoom. Hearing from so many different people. And it's great to like have another community too, to like see the different people who also stutter as well too. So And like I didn't know so many different people, especially in Africa and in the US too, could like unite and and express our like our concern about our speech and just come together and stuff too. So this is really great. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. More questions? Does anyone has any more questions or contributions to make? I don't think so. All right,
Elizabeth has
I
her
think
hand
my
up.
hand is raised.
all right.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think my network is so bad and stuff like that. But first of all, I want to thank the Stutter Awareness Foundation for all of this. It is so good to have a foundation that's doing something like this and helping people like us. I'm so thankful for the Stutter Awareness Foundation. And then this is like my first time joining. Every time I'm like, I'm going to join, but then I'm too scared to even try. I'm like, okay, what are they going to be saying? Like, am I going to be having to speak? Because like, if there's anything that requires me like speaking and all of that, I always, tend to like shy away from it and just run away from it. So, and I also want to thank Dr. Sandra for this and for her words of impact. It has really been an impactful session, and I'm so grateful. I'm also thankful that I was here on today's program. So thank you so much.
Thank you for showing up for yourself today, Elizabeth. I so appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining in. I know I've not introduced myself because of this meeting. My name is Victoria Wanne, and I'm the founder and executive director of the Stutter Awareness Foundation. It's an honor to be able to put these meetings together every month and have people join us from all over the world to, just hear inspiring stories and be inspired and also have hope that inclusion is possible and owning your voice is mandatory. Thank you so much, Dr. Sandra. It's been amazing. Every time we have you on board, I am always so happy because I know that everybody who is going to be attending is going to be inspired. So I just want to say thank you so much. Even at such a short notice, you were still able to come in for us. Thank you so much. May God bless you. This session has been
Absolutely.
recorded and it's going to be shared to each and every one of us to be able to watch and relearn and just get to know everything that Dr. Sandra has taught today. You'll be able to find them on all our social media platforms, and would also personally share it with you, Madam Sandra, for you to be able to share with your community as well. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
everybody, and have a lovely, nice day ahead.
Thank you all so much. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night. Thank you so much. Good night.
Bye.